Hello students, welcome to the next video lecture, and in this lecture we are going to study in detail the skill of letter writing. Okay, and when to use this skill, it is depend upon the person, because there are two types of letter writing, that is professional and business letter writing. Okay, actually we are going to study the professional letter writing. Okay, and after that we will study resume. Okay, so first thing that while writing letters we must know the types of letters, letter layouts and elements of letters. Okay, and accordingly we have to put the details while in the letter while composing the same. So let us study letter writing. So in this lecture we will learn and understand the need for writing effective letters, elements of business letter, three basic elements, layouts and elements of business letter in detail. Okay, so see here, business letter writing. Okay, the need for writing effective letters, you will understand that at the end of the lecture. Again, the elements of business letters and three basic layouts. Okay, so see, the question is asked here, do we really need business letters in the internet era? Your question might be no or might be yes, and if your answer is yes, you are on the right track. Okay, so certainly yes. The fact is that communication has improved so much that we are able to communicate the same idea through the email at a faster pace. Besides, writing comprises both formal and informal aspects. Okay, so next question is that, do we really need business letters in the internet era? That is the recording purpose or professional outlook. Okay, the answer is that for recording purpose we must write letters in internet era, we should compose that. Okay, and for professional outlook also we compose business letters. So see here, next let us go to the next slide. So recording purpose, how, what things we must study here. For recording purpose we may compose business letters for business correspondence. Okay, and business correspondence can be recorded or stored for future use. It has legal validity and sometimes kept confidential. For example, letters written by the president for country during war times, those letters are very confidential and can be considered as a proof. Okay, so see next one, professional outlook. Okay, it reflects the personality of the person, bears its own character and generates goodwill and reputation. Okay, again, uh, see here what is said. Professional outlook means it reflects the personality of the person. If you are writing a business letter in legitimate manner, in good manner, it will create a good reputation. Again, it bears its own character of the composer, and it generates goodwill as well as reputation. Then professional writing. Nonetheless, in order to give a professional outlook to a letter, one has to follow certain principles. Okay, that is, remember first the three P's of professional writing. Then what are the three P's of the professional writing? It is discussed in the next slide, that is professional writing. So purposeful, people oriented and precise, these are the three P's. Okay, so what is meant by purposeful? Write only when we have a definite purpose in mind or message to convey. Okay, that time means purpose oriented, you have to compose the letters. Again, people oriented means write what will interest your audience, focus totally on them and take their perspective. Okay, means your people oriented means your it is regarding the employer. As per the perspective of employer, you are going to compose your letter, and be precise, clear and concise. Okay, so what are the elements of business letters? See here, heading, date, inside address, reference, subject, attention line, salutation, body, complimentary clause, signature, identification marks, enclosure and copy notation. Now the this one, heading, date, inside address, salutation, body and complimentary clause, these are the important segments of business letters. Okay, and reference, subjects, attention line, identification marks, complementary copy notation and enclosure, these are the optional elements, means you may include in that letter or you may not. Okay, so see in detail the elements of business letters. The heading, which is printed letter heads, are available in corporate office or has to be created. Okay, and heading has the sender's address. In the heading you may mention your address if you are composing the letter, and inside address includes the address of the receiver. Okay, then subject. Next element of a business letter is subject. It tells about or give the gist, that is the essential part or main idea of the letter in the form of a topic or key phrases. Then attention line is mentioned. It is optional, and subject calls for the attention of that particular person to whom the letter should reach so that he can respond quickly. So next is the salutation. Okay, salutation is the informal greeting like dear sir, madam. This is called salutation. We mention always in email writing or in letter writing. Again, next comes the most important part, that is the body of the letter. Okay, and complimentary clause, which connotes a very pleasant way of saying something before concluding the letter with a formal full hand signature. Then next is the identification marks, enclosure, and competition. These are the segments which is not optional. It is optional. Okay, sorry. So see here optional elements and significant elements. Now see what includes the optional elements and why it is called optional elements, because it depends on the composer of the letter. Okay, see reference, subject, attention line, identification mask, inclusion, competition, copy notation. These are the optional elements, and heading, date, inside address, salutation, body, complementary clause, signature. These are the significant elements. These are the most important elements. It must be included in the business letter. Then three basic layouts. See, which in these three basic layouts are standard, right aligned, and left aligned. Okay, these are the three basic layouts. We may again call it as a full block format, semi block format, or block format. Okay, according to its features or layouts, it is called three basic layouts. So layout, standard layouts, what is the structure of that letter? See, heading comes at the center, then date at right side, and inside address, reference, subject, attention line, salutation, body comes at the left margin, and at the end complementary clause, signature at the right side, and identification marks, enclosure, and copy notation comes at the left side. This is called standard layout. Then this is the layout or example is given. Again, right aligned means all elements of the letters are composed or written at the right side of the letter. Then this is the structure. Again, left aligned, it is means all elements of the letters are composed at the left side. Okay, and it is nowadays mostly followed uh, layout which is used, okay, in professional world. Then this is the example. Then let us look at the elements in detail. Okay, those are elements of a business letter, that is heading. Here example is given, structure is also given here. Okay, high tech graphics, 613 circle road, Bangalore. So heading, also known as the letterhead, shows the sender or organization's name, full address, telephone, fax number, and email ID, etc. Okay, these all things are mentioned here. Actual example is given. Then this is the left aligned. Okay, this is right aligned layout. Hmm. Then use of punctuation in heading, there are two types of punctuation: full punctuation and internal punctuation. In full punctuation you may mention the comma, full stop, hyphen, but in internal punctuation there you may not use any punctuation, and here no punctuation, not a single dot or punctuation marks is used in this no punctuation type of heading. Then date is very important because it helps in storing and retrieving. Again, this is the format given here, but in American style this is the July 25 comma 2014. This is the American style, and we should avoid this one. Hmm? We should not mention because it is not applicable in business letters. Actually, we in Indian context we compose this type of date, but it is wrong. Again, right method is given here: 25 July 2014, 25 July comma, and 25 July 2014 without comma. Okay, that is this is the structure: the day, the month, and the year. Then inside address, actually this is the receiver's address. As I said before, there is no need to use any title in the designation, whereas the second one begins with the name of person, hence the title Miss representing Miss or Mrs. Hmm? Inside address, that is the receiver's address. Okay. Then titles means doctor, captain. There are two types of there are another particular type of titles, that is honorary titles. Okay, and titles used for male and title used for female. Now see here, honorary titles like doctor, captain, and professor. It can show that you are caring, respectful, sincere, faithful, devoted, dedicated, meticulous, thoughtful, etc. Okay, and honorary titles includes doctor, captain, professor, and titles used for male, that is Mr. Sri in Indian context, that is called Sriman. Okay, and title used for female, Mrs., who is married lady. In Indian context, we call her Srimati. Miss indicates unmarried women or Kumari, and Ms, ms only, Ms, pronounced as a Ms, a neutral title that doesn't indicate whether that person is married or unmarried. Okay, so and for a firm we use messrs. Then use of to. To is used when to use you when to when we have a use of to. If the address is short, that is about 3 or 4 lines, that time you may use to, and avoid if the address is going to be 5 or 6 lines, and remember not to put a comma after to. Okay, here example is given inside address to the title, comma is not avoided here, and address comprises 3 lines only, the director IIT Kanpur. Okay, and avoided if it is too long. hmm? Then reference and subject. Okay, the reference is given to indicate the context in which the letter is written, and this includes date, reference to previous invitation, correspondence, or advertisement number. And when a second reference is given by the sender for future communication, it is grouped under R reference, means your reference, R reference. It is the examples are given here. Reference, see, your advertisement uh, date is mentioned here, and where it is that advertisement published, that name of the newspaper is mentioned, the Times of India. Then your reference, our reference. In this way we should mention the reference. And subject, according to that purpose of the letter we may mention the subject. Okay, now see application for the post of program manager. It is related to our field. Okay, then let us see next slide. Subject. Okay, it gives pre of the main content of the letter. Let us stop here for a while.